Welcome, future diplomats. Today's kickoff is incredible. We're going over something that is pretty critical to the FSOT and also as a citizen of the United States of America. Something that you need to know if you're going to do your job well and represent the mission well when you are abroad is understanding, well, what in the world makes an American? And today we're going to go over the United States Constitution. So we just concluded a call. I'll share those notes later. It was an FSOA experience that was successful. So we'll touch on that next. But essentially, you will need to understand the United States Constitution to defend or be America's other army to the rest of the world. And that is the United States Constitution, which is composed of in the first article, the 10 Bill of Rights. We're talking about 27 total amendments. And today we're only going to go over the first 20. So by the end of this session, excuse me, you will know the 7 articles, the key amendments, and how the government's power is divided. Let's get into it. So the United States, let me go through my slide here so I can we had a speaker. We did that session. We recorded it separately. So just so you know what to expect from this, we're going to go over the Constitution as I just shared. I will have a quiz. I'm not going to wait for you to answer. You can just pause it. If you want to get engaged, you can. I will show I'll actually go over the answers maybe 5 seconds after. So, and we'll do the next articles, which is the 20, and we'll do a quiz then, and we'll conclude with next week's agenda. Cool. So the United States Foreign Officer Test, the FSOT, draws heavily from the United States Constitution because the principles enshrined in the document form the legal and philosophical foundation of American diplomacy. Understanding the Constitution is not just about memorizing articles and amendments. It's about knowing the values you will represent abroad. Every diplomat serves as a visible extension of the United States government, and the Constitution defines how that government is organized, how power is limited, and how rights are protected. When diplomats enter negotiations, deliver public remarks, or work on embassies, they are implicitly upholding the rule of law, federalism, and democratic accountability, all rooted in the Constitution. Essentially, in the first 7 articles of the Constitution, it begins with the preamble, but the real action starts in Article 1. Each article outlines one part of our government. First article is the legislative branch, which is Congress, which writes the law. Next is it's the second article, the executive branch, which is the president, which enforces the law. Next, the third is the judicial branch, the courts. They interpret the laws. Writes the laws, enforces the laws, interpret the laws. Next, the fourth is state powers and obligations. The fifth is amendment process, and we will touch on that. The sixth, federal supremacy clause, and the ratification process. So as you can see here in the screen, you can get a much deeper insight. You can write this down in your own notes. The legislative branches for Article 1, is executive branches for Article 2, and it does break down a little bit more about what it does, so you can have a better idea of what that is. So our first question to you would be, which article gives Congress the power to declare? Today is June 23rd, one of my really good friends' birthday. And just over the past weekend, irrelevant, but as far as the birthday, shout out to them, they know who. Over the past weekend, the United States has officially gone to war with Iran, and you can read more about that. As is relevant, which article gives Congress the power to declare? And the answer is 5, 4, 3, 2. Article, which is Congress. I was just, I am going to speak on. So I know that the New York Times and BBC, there's so many different outlets that's reporting on what's happening in real time with our, and some people are saying, did Congress give our president the fair? I will go and find out. That was a direct correlation. And as we are future diplomats, we need to understand the rights that we're standing up for, and especially if we're going to be representing them and sharing them across other continents. And this is exactly, so let's make sure we dive next. So let's learn a little bit more, right? So the amendment to the United States Constitution, and we're just going to go through the first 10, which is the bill. Let me see if I did make a note on that. I hope I did. Right. So the First Amendment protects the 5 basic freedoms, right, including speech, religion, assembly, petition. Even my ability to express my own opinion about what's happening is my ability to create this video. This is a form that is within the First Amendment. My ability to go to church. That's my First Amendment. Your ability to go to the church or not go to church. That is your right. That's all within the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. Why? These are essential to the U.S. democracy and often cited in diplomacy. So, Second Amendment grants the right to bear arms, not these arms. These are guns. These are firearms. Wider, a topic of domestic debate and international interest. Again, this conversation is with future diplomats here. And so it's tied to national identity and individual. In the United States, we do carry guns. Our army, our entire military has guns, but our citizens also. I'll just leave it at that. Other countries, no guns are permitted, but they may have a no, or mission. So no country is perfect, but this is what we have the right here. Amendment. It prohibits soldiers from being housed in private homes without consent in peacetime. This is a reaction to British abuse, foundational to the right to privacy. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, requires warrants. Wider, impacts surveillance policies and law enforcement, important in human rights. Different. Ensures due process, prohibits double jeopardy and self-incrimination. Why does this matter? As a key in criminal justice, diplomacy, and explaining United States legal standard, dissent guarantees a speedy public trial with impartial jury and legal. The cornerstone of fair trial. Smart. And the Seventh Amendment guarantees jury trials in federal civil cases. This demonstrates the United States preference for participation in justice. The Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive fines and cruel or unusual use in internet rights critiques. So the death penalty. The Ninth Amendment. The people retain rights not listed in the Constitution. Important. Why does this matter? It supports unlimited. Oh, sorry. My stay in the call. Sorry, my program asked me, are you still meeting? Yes, I'm still meeting. I'm still recording. So thank you. So why does it matter? It supports liberties like privacy and reproductive rights. So sorry, that was a little distraction there. But the 10th Amendment reserves all non-delegated powers to the states or people. Why does it matter? Foundation of federalism used in debates over state versus federal authority. Let me see what's next here. Okay, so I'll leave this up just in case you want to take some note. From a structure point, the United States outlines the framework of checks and balances between the executive, legislative, and Article 2, for example, details the power of the president, who is the head of state, and under whose authority. Article 1 defines the role of Congress in declaring war, ratifying treaties, and funding force. 3, establish judiciary. I can tell it's almost 9 o'clock at night. Judiciary's role, which can be especially important when international laws or treaties intersect with U.S. law. Diplomats must understand these divisions of power to explain how the United States functions, particularly to counterparts from countries with very different. And my vow to you as a future diplomat is to improve in certain words. I just had a whole hour session. Sometimes in the profession, it can be 2 hours. So longer sometimes. So I just need to make sure I'm building up some endurance for these meetings. So thank you. Many diplomatic principles also flow from the Bill of Rights and Limits. For instance, the First Amendment guarantees freedoms of speech, religion, and press, principles that are central to United States policy. When a diplomat speaks on behalf of the United States promotes democracy or advocates for human rights, they are often invoking values that stem directly from the Bill of Rights. The 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause, meanwhile, crucial in shaping his stance on civil rights, inclusion, issues that come up often in bilateral and multilateral relations. Even amendments like the 13th, which is abolishing, and it makes it illegal unless you are a ward of the state. That in the 19th Amendment, women's suffrage. So that's the ability to lowering the voters' age, reflecting evolving democratic ideals that Americans are expected to understand and sometimes explain. The Constitution is not static. It has been amended and interpreted centuries. And that adaptability is one of the most powerful narratives the diplomat can share when it's governance. The future foreign service officers must internalize the Constitution because they are often asked to clarify U.S. positions to fences, sometimes in challenge, knowing how American laws are made, how citizens' rights are protected, and how foreign policy is formed makes diplomats more creative. Whether you're crafting a cable or a message, advising a foreign official, or giving a press interview, your ability to draw from constitutional principles ensures you are not just representing United States policy, but the values that produced. This is why for it to know you, prepare you to represent the United States with constitutional literacy. Let's get into the next slide. So 11 through 20. Then I'll do the test. In fact, should we just go ahead and do the test now? So quick fire. The first, freedom of speech. Press. Second, rights, bear arms, no quartering troops. Fourth, no unreasonable searches. Fifth, due process, no double jeopardy. Sixth, seventh, civil trials. Eighth, no cruel punishment. Ninth, rights retained by people. 10th, state's power. So why do you think, so this is not a quiz, but this is just me asking, why do you think the 9th and 10th Amendments were added? Right powers. I'll let you answer that. That Bill of Rights. Which amendment protects freedom of speech? Which amendment guarantees the right to bear arms? Amendment. Which amendment prohibits quartering of soldiers and private? Third one. And these questions, they have the answers. It's not always easy, but the point is to not overthink it. Care, but don't overthink. Do not have paralysis by analysis. Just make sure you're reading and efficient. But I will throw a curveball at you. So with the FSOT quiz, here we go. Let's say for the Bill of Rights, which amendment guarantees? Okay, here we go. Which amendment guarantees the right government for a redress of? Okay, I'll give you a moment to think about it. The choices are, it is how the FSOT is, there's multiple choice questions. A, amendment. B, the First Amendment. C, amendment. D, the amendment. Next, the protection against self-incrimination and double jeopardy is found in amendment. You got this in your notes. I know you do. Is it A, the Fourth Amendment, B, the Sixth Amendment, C, the Fifth Amendment? All right, we're going to do. Which amendment protects against unreasonable? Fourth Amendment, A, Fifth Amendment, B, C. The rights to a jury in civil cases over $20. Amendment, the Sixth Amendment. Answer is B. Okay. Now let's go ahead and jump into actually just kind of spitfire because I want to make sure I'm. So And thank you for watching, by the way. If you're not subscribed to the channel, as you can see, the videos are getting better. Thank you for watching for years. And I just want to make sure I'm preparing better content for you, especially because I have something nice coming. And we do have a special guest coming. So with the 11th Amendment, it limits the ability to sue states in federal courts. So it's sovereign immunity. Why does this matter? State power. Part of the tension is federalism. The 12th Amendment reforms how presidents and vice are elected. It prevents political conflict like the election of 1800. Check it out. The 13th Amendment abolishes slavery and involuntary servitude, except as punishment. Why does it matter? Major turning point in human rights and foundational rights diplomacy. The 14th Amendment defines citizenship and ensures due process and guarantees protection. And this is why it matters as a diplomat. Most cited amendment in modern court rulings, essential to explaining U.S. fraud. The 15th Amendment, granting voting rights regardless of race and servitude. U.S. diplomat. Expands democratic participation and supports the United States' claim to be a democracy. 4 more. The 16th Amendment authorizes a tax. For our future diplomats, what matters is that it funds federal programs, foreign aid, military, diplomacy. 17th Amendment, direct election of the United States senators. This increases accountability and public engagement in United States foreign policy through legislative oversight. The 18th Amendment, prohibit repealed. Why does it matter? A cautionary tale in policymaking policy. The 19th Amendment grants women the right to vote. Why does it matter? Major democratic milestones important in promoting gender. The 20th Amendment changed the dates of the presidential and congressional terms. We call it the lame duck amendment. Why does it matter? It speeds up political transitions affecting continuity and policy. There we go. Little random fact. It is random, but although it may feel like it's an international term, it was coined of Theodore Roosevelt. And he's random little fact there. All right, next, let's go ahead and conclude. So okay, I think we already come back here. So some key amendments are 13, the 14th, the 15th, the 19th, and the 26th. These amendments reflect the moral and social evolution of the United States. They also come up often in diplomacy and human rights discussions. Example, or actually to be more precise, the 13th Amendment, it does abolish slavery, except in prisons. That's what it did. The 14th, it provided citizenship and equal 15th. Voting rights regardless of race. And I know right now there's a lot of things going on in the news with California and different places all over the United States, to ICE. This is why it's important for us to know rights and to know what we can do. Put yourself in a position to get hurt by your National Guard. There's other ways to protest, other ways to exhibit Amendment 1. And just so you know, I do have a history of you. All right, so the 19th Amendment, women's suffrage, so the right to vote. The 26th Amendment, vote to 18. So these things are helpful when it comes to societal evolution for the United States, and very often they do come up. There's other countries that come here because we have better rights. There's people who leave here because maybe not represented. So depending on the country, that's your opportunity to again learn, to them. So how do these amendments relate to America as a democracy? The right to vote as a woman, 18, able to vote, slavery, unless you're a warden, and being able to get citizenship. You can vote, being able to get. All right, to conclude here, federalism and checks and balances. So federalism means power is shared between the states and the national government. checks and balances simply means that they can limit the other. Visualize this. The executive branch can veto laws, check on Congress, the president. So that's the executive. And courts can strike down law. They can check on both legislative branch. What's an example of a modern debate? And just to kind of stir the brain up a little bit. Abortion, marijuana, gun control. All right, let's wrap up with a couple questions. We will go. Okay. Which amendment prohibits the United States from suing a state? The United States from suing a state in federal court if they are not a. I'm sorry, I definitely read it wrong. Which amendment prohibits the United States citizens from suing a state in federal court if they are not a resident of their state? Is it A, the 10th Amendment, B, the 11th Amendment, C, the 14th Amendment? The answer is B. Question 7. The 13th Amendment is for what? Is it A, extending voting rights to women, B, ending slavery in the United States, C, lowering the voters' age, D, in this? The answer is B, ending slavery, unless you are a war. What major legal concept is established? 14th Amendment's protection clause. Now here's a good one. Is it A, the judicial review, B, states' rights, D, due process and equal treatment, C, let's start it. Sorry, so close to this quiz. What major legal concept is established by the 14th Amendment's equal protection clause? Is it A, the judicial review? Is it B, the states' rights? Is it C, due process and equal treatment? D, it is C, due process and equal treatment. 2, and we're done. The 19th Amendment gave Congress the power to do what? Is it A, interstate, establish a federal income tax, C, abolish slavery, D, direct? It is B, establish a federal income tax, 19th Amendment, which we just learned fuels and things. Last, which amendment mandated the direct election of the United States senators by, oh, you know this. Is it A, the 12th Amendment, B, the 17th Amendment, C, the 18th Amendment, D? Okay, that is it. Thank you for joining me today. And for those who were on the call earlier and may come back and watch the replay, thank you. For those who may be interested in joining the study group and meeting with us live and meeting experts, try to put the links in the description of the video so you can join us. I don't record those for private, but yeah, just join us and we'll see you then. We have some great things in store. We're going to be working on personal narratives, situational judgments, we're going deep. FSOA, FSOT, essay writing. Until then, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so when I do drop another video, you will know. Either way, we'll see you in the group. See you next time. Have a good night.